You wake before the light reaches the window, not because you choose to, but because your body has learned the hour. The air inside the room is cool and still. It presses lightly against your face and hands, carrying the faint smell of wood smoke that never fully leaves the walls. Beneath you, the straw mattress shifts softly as you move. The straw is packed tight, flattened by many nights, and covered by a rough wool blanket that holds a little warmth, but not much. Your eyes open slowly. The ceiling above you is low, darkened by years of smoke. The beams are thick and uneven, their surfaces smooth where hands have brushed them over time. Nothing moves yet. The house is quiet, except for the small sounds it always makes. A faint creak as the wood settles, a distant breath from someone sleeping nearby, the quiet ticking of embers resting in the hearth. You lie still for a moment, listening. Your body feels heavy, not with exhaustion, but with a familiar stiffness. Your hands are cool where they rest outside the blanket. Your feet, wrapped in wool, are colder. You flex your toes once, slowly, then stop. There is no reason to rush. Eventually, you sit up. The blanket slides down with a soft, rasping sound. Cold air touches your neck and shoulders. You pause, letting the sensation pass, then swing your legs down until your feet meet the floor. The packed earth is hard and cold beneath you. You stand, steadying yourself with one hand against the wall. The wall feels cool and slightly rough, patched in places where the surface has cracked and been repaired. Nearby, the hearth waits. The fire is not gone, only resting. A small glow hides beneath the ash, barely visible. You crouch slowly, careful not to disturb it too much. With practiced movements, you blow gently, then add a few thin pieces of wood. The ember brightens. A small flame appears, then another. The sound is soft and patient. As the fire wakes, you rub your hands together. The warmth reaches your fingers first, then spreads into your palms. You hold them close, turning them slightly, letting the heat ease the stiffness. Your breath slows. The fire does not need much yet. You reach for a clay pot set near the hearth. It is cool to the touch. Inside is water drawn the night before. You place the pot near the edge of the fire, not directly over it. It will warm slowly. There is no need to hurry it. When you straighten, you pull on your clothing. A linen shirt first, thin and soft from use. Over it, a wool tunic, heavier, slightly coarse. You fasten it with familiar motions, fingers working without thought. The wool holds warmth close to your body, even before the fire has done its work. You add leggings and wrap your feet more securely, then settle back on the low bench near the hearth. The light in the room changes gradually. The fire flickers, casting slow-moving shadows along the walls. The window remains dim, but the darkness there is thinning. Morning is close. You take up a wooden bowl from the shelf. It is empty, clean enough. You set it beside you. Nearby, a small sack hangs from a peg. You loosen the tie and reach inside, feeling the smooth, hard shapes of grains. You scoop a handful into the bowl. They make a soft, dry sound as they settle. You add water from the warming pot, just enough to cover them. When the fire has grown steady, you place the bowl near it, then begin to stir with a wooden spoon. The motion is slow and even. The grains move reluctantly at first, then more easily as the water warms. Steam begins to rise, thin and pale. The smell is simple and familiar. It fills the room gently, without demand. You breathe it in and feel your shoulders lower slightly. As you wait, you glance toward the door. It remains closed. Beyond it, the day is beginning, but there is no need to step outside yet. The house holds you for now. You stir again, scraping the bottom of the bowl carefully so nothing sticks. The spoon is smooth from long use, its handle shaped by hands. You taste a little, blowing softly before it reaches your mouth. The heat spreads across your tongue, mild and steady. It needs time. While it cooks, you reach for a small cloth bundle tucked near the shelf. Inside are dried herbs. You pinch a few between your fingers, feeling their brittle texture. You crush them gently and add them to the bowl. The scent deepens slightly, still quiet, still restrained. The fire pops once. You do not react. It is a friendly sound. When the porridge thickens, you move the bowl away from the heat. You add a small piece of dark bread, broken into chunks. Softens slowly, sinking. You wait again, letting everything come together. You eat with small spoonfuls, unhurried. Each mouthful is warm and steady. The texture is soft, filling without being heavy. You chew slowly, feeling the warmth move into your chest and stomach. The cold in your hands fades. As you eat, the light through the window grows clearer. Shapes outside begin to separate from one another. You can see the pale sky, the outline of nearby buildings, the ground still dark with moisture. When the bowl is empty, you scrape it clean with the spoon and wipe it with a cloth. You set it back on the shelf. Nothing is left behind. The fire continues to burn gently. You add another small piece of wood, then stand. You stretch once, slowly, raising your arms and lowering them again. Your body feels ready now, awake in a quiet way. You open the door. Cool air moves in, carrying the smell of damp earth. The ground outside is firm beneath your feet. The day has begun, and you step into it without hurry. You step outside and pause without meaning to. The ground holds the night's cold, firm beneath your feet. Moisture clings to the earth in a thin, dark sheen. The air is cool enough that you notice it in your breath, though it does not sting. It settles on your skin and stays there, light and patient. The space outside the house is narrow and familiar. The walls around you lean slightly, not enough to threaten, only enough to remind you of their age. Above, the sky is pale and even without sharp color. Morning has arrived quietly. You close the door behind you. The sound is soft, controlled. It is important that it be so. The door fits into its frame with a dull wooden thud that you know well. You stand still again, listening. Somewhere nearby, a rooster calls once, then stops. From farther away comes the low sound of movement, perhaps a cart being shifted, perhaps only someone walking across packed ground. You turn toward the small yard. It is not fenced in any careful way. Stones mark its edges, pressed into the soil to keep it from drifting. In one corner, a wooden trough rests on uneven legs. The surface of the water inside reflects the pale sky. You lean over it and rinse your hands, dipping them slowly, then lifting them out again. The water is cold, tightens the skin of your fingers, sharp for a moment, then fading. You shake your hands once, not hard. There is no cloth nearby, so you let the air do its work. You rub your palms together, feeling the texture of your skin, the lingering warmth from the fire inside the house still faintly present. Near the wall, a small basket waits where it always does. Inside are scraps from the previous day. You sort through them without looking closely, fingers knowing what to expect. A piece of rind, a hard heel of bread, a few wilted leaves. You set aside what will be useful and leave the rest. Nothing is wasted, but nothing is rushed either. You carry the basket to the edge of the yard. There a few birds wait. They do not rush forward when they see you. They stand and watch. You scatter the scraps slowly, spreading them across the ground. The birds step forward in their own time, heads dipping, bodies shifting with small, careful movements. You stay where you are until they settle, then turn away. Beyond the yard, the path opens into a narrow lane. The surface is uneven, worn smooth in places and broken in others. You step onto it and begin to walk, your pace steady and unremarkable. The rhythm of your steps is familiar. Your feet know where to land. As you move, the world around you comes awake in small ways. Doors open a little, then close again. Someone coughs once from inside a house. Smoke begins to rise, thin and pale, from a chimney down the lane. The smell of it drifts toward you, blending with the dampness of the ground. You pass a low structure with a slanted roof. This door is open. Inside, the space is dark, but you can see the outline of shelves and hanging tools. You do not stop. There is no reason to. You will return later. The lane bends slightly and widens. Here, the ground is more worn, pressed flat by many feet. You slow as you approach a well. The stone rim is cool to the touch when you rest your hand on it. A bucket hangs from a rope, its wood darkened from use. You lower it carefully, listening as it disappears into the darkness below. The sound of water meeting wood comes after a moment. You wait until the bucket fills, then pull it back up, hand over hand. The rope is rough. You feel it through your skin, each fiber familiar. When the bucket reaches the top, you set it down gently. The water inside is clear and still. You take a drink, lifting the bucket with both hands. The water is cold, clean, and plain. You swallow slowly. It settles in your stomach, steady and quiet. You do not drink too much. You never do. After replacing the bucket, you continue along the lane. The light has grown stronger now. Shadows sharpen slightly, though they remain soft at the edges. You can see farther ahead, the shapes of buildings becoming clearer, their surfaces marked by time and repair. You reach a small open space where several paths meet. Here, the ground is bare, swept clean by feet and wind. A low bench sits near one wall. You take a seat without hesitation. The wood is cool, but not uncomfortable. You rest your hands on your knees and wait. Others pass through the space. They do not greet you directly, but you notice the small signs of recognition. A slight nod, pause in movement, a shift of the shoulders. These are enough. Words are not needed. A woman crosses the space carrying a basket balanced against her hip. She moves carefully, adjusting her grip once, then again. The basket holds vegetables, still marked with soil. You watch her pass, then look away. From the far side of the open space comes a faint sound of grinding. Someone is already at work, turning grain into flour. The sound is steady, unhurried. It blends into the background, becoming part of the morning rather than standing apart from it. You stand again and follow the sound. It leads you to a building with a wide doorway. Inside, the air is cool and dim. Light enters through the opening and a small window high in the wall. Dust floats slowly in the beam. At the center of the room is a large stone. The surface is worn smooth. Another stone rests against it, shaped to fit the hand. You take your place beside it without speaking. There is grain already waiting in a shallow bowl nearby. You pour some onto the stone, spreading it evenly. You begin to grind. The motion is slow and circular. Your shoulders move with it, your arms steady. The stone slides over the grain with a dull, gritty sound. You apply even pressure, not forcing it. The grain breaks down gradually, becoming finer with each pass. The work warms you slightly. Your breath deepens, your movements settling into a rhythm. You do not think about anything in particular. There is no need. The sound of stone on stone fills the space. From time to time, you pause to gather the flour and push it back toward the center. You feel its texture between your fingers, finer now, softer. When enough has been ground, you set it aside and add more grain. Others work nearby. You are aware of them without looking. You know their presence by the sound of their movements, the slight changes in air. No one speaks. There is no rule against it, but the silence is easier. When your portion is finished, you sweep the flour into a cloth and tie it closed. You wipe the stone clean with a dry hand, then step back. Someone else moves forward to take your place. You leave the building and return to the open space. The morning has advanced. The light is brighter now, though still gentle. You feel warmth beginning to reach your shoulders. You walk back toward your house, carrying the cloth of flour carefully. The weight is modest but steady. You keep it close to your body. Along the way, you pass a group of children sitting on the ground. They are occupied with small objects, stones and bits of wood arranged in patterns. They glance up as you pass, then return to their task. At the door of your house, you pause once more. You shift the cloth to one hand and open the door with the other. Inside, the air is warmer than outside. The fire has been tended. The light through the window has changed, brighter now, clearer. You set the flour on the table and loosen the cloth. A fine dust rises and settles. You smooth the surface with your hand, then retie the cloth and move it to the shelf. Nearby, another bowl waits. You take it down and add water, then a portion of the flour. You stir slowly, watching as the mixture thickens. Your hands move with care. The dough comes together under your fingers, slightly sticky at first, then smoother as you work it. You knead it gently on the table. The surface bears the marks of many hands before yours. You press, fold, turn, and repeat. The motion is steady and familiar. The dough grows elastic, responding to your touch. When it is ready, you shape it into small rounds and set them aside on a cloth. They rest quietly, changing almost imperceptibly. You cover them lightly and leave them near the hearth. You sit down again, this time on the bench inside. You rest your hands in your lap and wait. The house is calm. The sounds are small and contained. Outside, the day continues to unfold. After a time, you stand and tend the fire. You move the embers, adjusting the wood. The heat increases slightly. You place a flat stone near the flames and wait for it to warm. When the stone is ready, you place one round of dough onto it. The sound is soft. You watch as the surface begins to change, bubbles forming slowly. The smell is gentle, comforting. You turn it once carefully, then remove it and set it aside. You repeat the process until the rounds are done. You stack them on a cloth and cover them. The bread cools gradually. When you are finished, you clean the stone and return it to its place. You wash your hands again, then dry them against your clothing. You sit once more, breathing evenly. The morning has settled into itself. There is no sense of urgency. The work has been done in its time. You remain where you are, letting the warmth and quiet hold you. You remain seated after the bread is finished, not because there is nothing else to do, but because this pause belongs to the morning as much as the work did. The bench supports your weight evenly. The wood beneath you is smooth where others have sat before. Your hands rest on your thighs. The warmth from the hearth reaches you in waves, not constant, but reliable. The bread cools nearby under its cloth. You can smell it faintly. It does not demand attention. It will wait. After a time, you stand again and move toward the shelf. You take down a small crock sealed with a wooden lid. When you open it, the scent inside is sharp and familiar. You do not lift it close to your face. You know it well enough already. You take a small spoonful and spread it thinly on one piece of bread. Not too much. You eat it slowly, standing near the hearth. The taste is strong, but not unpleasant. It wakes your mouth gently. You chew carefully, then swallow. The bread is still warm at the center. The contrast settles in your body without effort. You wrap the remaining bread again and set it aside. It will be eaten later, perhaps with something added, perhaps not. You do not decide now. Outside, the sounds of the day have grown steadier. Footsteps pass more often along the lane. A voice carries briefly, then fades. The light at the window is fuller now, no longer hesitant. You glance toward it, then back to the room. You reach for a basket hanging near the door. Inside are tools you will need. You check them by touch more than sight. A small knife with a worn handle. A piece of cloth. A shallow container made of wood. Everything is there. You step outside again, closing the door behind you with the same care as before. The air feels different now. It has warmed slightly. The ground has begun to dry at the surface, though darker patches remain where the sun has not yet reached. You follow the lane past the open space and continue toward the edge of the settlement. The buildings thin here. Between them, small plots of ground stretch out, some worked, some resting. You walk along a narrow strip where grass grows low and uneven. At the boundary, a fence of rough branches marks where the land changes. You pass through a gap without slowing. Beyond it, the ground opens wider. The earth here is darker, looser, carries the smell of yesterday's work. You stop near a patch where the soil has been turned. Kneeling, you press your fingers into it. It gives easily. You lift a small clod and break it apart, letting it fall back. The texture is right. You brush your hands together once, then take out the shallow container. Nearby, green leaves push up in uneven lines. You move among them slowly, selecting only what is ready. You cut carefully, never pulling. Each piece goes into the container, arranged loosely so it does not bruise. You work without hurry, moving from one spot to another, guided by habit more than thought. As you work, you feel the sun on your back. It is mild, steady. It does not burn. It simply stays. The rhythm of your movements remains even. Cut, place, shift, repeat. When the container is full enough, you stand and stretch slowly, feeling the pull in your back ease as you straighten. You look over the patch once more, not counting what remains, only noting it. You return the way you came, stepping carefully where the ground is uneven. At the fence, you pause briefly to adjust your grip, then continue. Back near the houses, you pass someone carrying a bundle of sticks. They slow slightly as you approach. You shift to give space. No words are exchanged. There is no need. Inside your house, the air is warm and still. You set the container on the table and rinse your hands again at the trough. This time, the water does not feel as cold. You dry your hands against your tunic and return to the table. You spread the leaves out and inspect them. You remove a few that are too tough and set them aside. The rest you wash carefully, dipping them into a bowl of water and lifting them out again. The water clouds slightly. You change it once, then again. When they are clean, you chop them coarsely. The knife moves with small, controlled motions. The sound is soft, regular. The pieces fall into a wooden bowl, uneven but serviceable. You place the bowl near the hearth and set a pot beside it. Inside the pot, a small amount of liquid remains from earlier. You add the leaves and stir once. The pot goes near the fire, not directly over it. You will let it warm slowly. While it heats, you sit again. The bench creaks softly as you settle. You feel the day moving forward, not as a line, but as a series of small shifts. The light changes. The fire settles. The sounds outside rise and fall. You stir the pot occasionally, lifting the spoon to check the texture. The leaves soften, darkening slightly. You add a pinch of something from a small pouch, then stir again. The smell changes, becoming rounder, quieter. When it is ready, you ladle a portion into a bowl. You eat standing, leaning lightly against the table. The warmth spreads slowly through your chest. The taste is simple, grounding. You do not finish all of it. What remains will keep. Afterward, you clean the pot and bowl. You rinse them and set them to dry. You wipe the table with the cloth, smoothing the surface with your hand when you are done. The middle of the day approaches without announcement. The sun stands higher. Shadows shorten. You step outside again and stand in the open space between the buildings. You tilt your face slightly upward, letting the light rest there. A few others pass through the space. One stops briefly near the well, then moves on. Another sits on the bench where you sat earlier. You remain standing, hands folded loosely. After a while, you return inside and take up a different task. From a hook near the wall, you remove a bundle wrapped in cloth. Inside are small pieces of food set aside earlier. You unwrap them and inspect them. Some are firm, some soft. You separate them by feel. You thread a few pieces onto a thin cord and hang them near the hearth. Not too close. They will change slowly over time. Others you place back into the bundle and wrap again. The afternoon moves gently. You perform small tasks as they arise. Mending a loose seam, sorting what remains in a basket, checking the fire. Each action flows into the next without pause or urgency. Eventually, you sit once more. The bench holds you. The house holds you. Outside, the day continues its quiet work. Inside, you remain steady and at ease. You sit longer than you expect, not from tiredness, but because the afternoon allows it. The light has changed again. It enters the room at a different angle now, touching the wall near the door instead of the table. Dust drifts slowly through it, visible only when it crosses the brightness, then disappearing again. The fire is lower. You do not rise to tend it immediately. You listen first. The house is quiet, but not empty. The walls hold sound softly. Somewhere nearby, wood taps against wood. A door opens, then closes. A footstep pauses, then continues. When you stand, you move with the same calm as before. You add one small piece of wood to the hearth and nudge the embers. The flame responds without protest. You leave it there. From a peg near the door, you take a shallow basket lined with cloth. You lift the cloth and look inside. The contents are simple and familiar. You adjust them slightly, ensuring nothing presses too hard against anything else. Then you replace the cloth and lift the basket. Outside, the air is warmer now. The sun rests higher, steady but not harsh. The ground has softened in places. You step carefully where the earth gives a little beneath your feet. You walk toward the open space again, then past it, continuing farther this time. The path narrows and bends gently. Low walls run along either side, built of stone placed without mortar. You brush one with your fingers as you pass. It feels warm where the sun has touched it. At the end of the path, the space opens again, this time wider. A long table stands beneath a simple covering of cloth stretched between posts. The surface is marked by use. You approach and set your basket down at one end. Others arrive slowly. No one gathers all at once. Each person comes in their own time carrying something small. A bundle, a jar, a bowl. Items are placed on the table without comment. No one arranges them carefully at first. That will come later. You take a seat on a low stool near the table. The wood presses lightly against the backs of your legs. You rest your hands in your lap and wait. When enough have arrived, the quiet shifts. It does not break, but it changes shape. Someone moves closer to the table. Another adjusts the cloth overhead. The air carries a faint mixture of smells, none strong on its own. You rise when it is time. You unwrap your basket and place its contents on the table. You do so without presentation, setting them down where there is space. Others do the same. Items begin to form loose groupings by nature rather than design. You step back again and sit. The table now holds a simple collection. Bread in different shapes. Small bowls of thick mixtures. Leaves prepared earlier. Pieces set aside to change slowly over days. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is abundant. A shallow bowl is passed along the table. When it reaches you, you take it with both hands. You add a small portion of one thing, then another, never too much. You pass the bowl on without pause. When your own bowl comes to you, you eat slowly. The food is familiar, but slightly changed by the way it sits together. The textures meet and separate. The taste is steady. You chew carefully, aware of your body, of how the warmth moves again through your chest. No one speaks while eating. The sounds are small. The scrape of wood against wood. A quiet breath. The shift of a stool. When you are finished, you wipe your bowl with a piece of bread and set it aside. The bread is eaten too. Nothing remains in your bowl when you pass it back. Afterward, the table is cleared in the same quiet way it was filled. Each person takes responsibility for what they brought. The cloth is folded and lifted. The posts stand bare again. You walk back toward your house, the basket lighter now. The path feels different under your feet. The day has warmed it. You notice the change without thinking about it. Inside, the light has softened. The fire has settled again. You set the empty basket aside and hang it back on its peg. You rinse your hands and wipe them dry. There is time before the afternoon turns. You take up a piece of cloth from the shelf and a needle from a small container. You sit near the window where the light is best. The cloth rests across your knees. You find the loose seam by touch, then by sight. You thread the needle carefully. The thread slides through with only a little resistance. You knot it with practiced fingers. The motion is small and precise. As you sew, your breathing remains even. The needle passes in and out of the cloth. The thread draws the seam together. Each stitch is like the last. You do not count them. Outside, a shadow passes the window briefly. You do not look up. Passes, and the light returns unchanged. When the seam is secure, you tie off the thread and trim it. You run your fingers along the edge to check it. It holds. You fold the cloth and return it to its place. The afternoon moves toward its later shape. The light lowers. The air cools slightly. You stand and stretch once, gently. You step outside again. The open space is quieter now. Fewer people pass through. Those who do move more slowly. You stand near the well and draw water, setting it near your door for later use. You notice the sky has begun to change. The color deepens. The sun lowers, though it still warms your face when you turn toward it. Inside, you prepare for the next meal without hurry. You take down the remaining bread and unwrap it. You cut it carefully, setting aside what will be eaten now and what will remain. You warm a portion near the fire, not directly, just enough to soften it. You add something simple to it, a small amount spread thin. You eat standing again, leaning lightly against the table. The taste is quiet, expected. Afterward, you clean once more. The repetition does not tire you, settles you. As evening approaches, the sounds outside fade. The air cools further. You tend the fire for the last time today, adding enough wood to last a while. The flames rise, then settle. You sit on the bench again. The warmth reaches you steadily. Your body feels used, but not strained. Your hands rest easily. The light at the window dims. Shapes outside soften. You remain where you are, breathing slowly, letting the day finish in its own way. You remain seated as the evening gathers itself. The fire has found a steady rhythm, neither bright nor low. The warmth reaches your legs first, then your hands. The bench beneath you feels familiar, its surface shaped by long use. You rest your feet flat on the ground and let your shoulders ease downward. The light outside fades gradually. The window no longer shows clear shapes, only a soft change in tone. You do not rise to close the shutters yet. There is still enough light to see the room without effort. You stand after a while and move toward the shelf again. You take down a small wooden box. It opens with a quiet sound. Inside are items set aside for this hour. You sort them slowly. A small piece of something firm. Another that bends slightly when pressed. You choose carefully, guided by habit rather than thought. You set these on the table and add a little water to a small pot. You place it near the fire, close enough to warm, not close enough to hurry. The contents change slowly. You stir once, then leave it. While it warms, you return to the bench. You sit with your hands folded loosely. The fire breathes. You notice how the room smells different now than it did in the morning. Less smoke, more warmth. A trace of food lingering, softened by time. Outside, the sounds have thinned. A footstep passes, then another farther away. Somewhere a door closes. After that, there is mostly stillness. When you stand again, you lift the pot carefully and pour its contents into a bowl. You add one of the items from the table, then another, breaking them into smaller pieces with your fingers. You stir gently. The mixture thickens slightly, settling into itself. You eat slowly. Each mouthful is warm and modest. The texture is uneven, but familiar. You chew carefully, feeling the warmth move into your body once more. You stop before you are full. You always do. Afterward, you rinse the bowl and pot. The water feels cooler again now that the fire has lowered. You shake your hands once and dry them against your clothing. You take a cloth from the peg near the door and fold it over the table. You smooth it flat with both hands. The motion is slow and deliberate. When you are done, you step back and look at it briefly, then turn away. You move to the hearth and adjust the fire. You add a piece of wood and push it into place. The flames respond with a soft sound. You leave them as they are. From another peg, you take down a thicker garment. You slip it over your shoulders and tie it loosely at the front. The weight settles around you, holding warmth close. You feel your body respond, easing further. You sit again, closer to the fire now. The bench creaks softly. You rest your elbows on your thighs and let your hands hang loosely between your knees. Your breathing slows. The room grows darker. You rise once more to close the shutters. The wood meets the frame with a muted sound. Only a thin line of light remains at the edges. Inside, the fire becomes the main source of brightness. Shadows gather and settle. You return to your place and sit quietly. The The firelight moves across the walls, slow and steady. You watch it without following any one shape. After some time, you stand and prepare the space for rest. You lift the straw mattress slightly and smooth it. You shake the wool blanket once, then lay it out evenly. You set a small wooden headrest near the wall, adjusting its position until it feels right. You remove your outer garment and hang it carefully. You loosen the ties of your tunic and slip it over your head. The air feels cooler against your skin. You pause, then pull the blanket around your shoulders as you sit on the edge of the mattress. You reach for a small cup near the hearth. Inside is a little warm liquid saved for this moment. You drink it slowly. The warmth spreads gently, without urgency. When the cup is empty, you set it aside and lie down. The straw shifts beneath you, then settles. You pull the blanket up and adjust it around your body. The firelight reaches you faintly from across the room. Your eyes remain open for a while. You listen to the small sounds of the house. The fire settles. Wood shifts. The night presses lightly against the walls. Your breathing becomes slower. Your body grows heavy in a comfortable way. The day has been long, but not difficult. It has unfolded as it always does. You let your eyes close when they are ready. The warmth holds. The quiet remains. You wake before you realize that you have slept. There is no sharp moment between night and morning, only a gradual return of awareness. The fire has dimmed to a quiet glow. The room holds a cooler air now, resting gently on your face and hands. The blanket remains where you pulled it, heavy and reassuring. You lie still for a while. Your body feels rested, though not light. The straw beneath you presses evenly, familiar in every place. Somewhere outside, the first sound of movement passes, faint and distant. It does not pull you from the bed. It only marks the hour. When you sit up, you move slowly. The blanket slides down with a soft sound. Your feet meet the earth floor again, cool but not unpleasant. You pause, letting your balance settle, then stand. The hearth waits. You kneel and stir the ash gently, searching for what remains. A small glow answers you. You feed it with thin wood kept close for this purpose. The flame returns quietly, as if it had never fully left. You warm your hands once, then twice. The stiffness eases. You straighten and reach for the clay pot. You fill it with water from the bucket set near the door. The water is cold, clear. You place the pot near the fire and leave it. The room brightens slightly as the fire wakes. Shadows shift, not quickly but with purpose. You pull on your clothing again, the same pieces as the day before. Linen first, wool over it. Each layer settles into place without resistance. The weight feels right. You take a piece of bread from where it rests, wrapped and waiting. You break off a small portion and set the rest aside. The piece in your hand is firm but not hard. You warm it near the hearth, turning it once. When the water has warmed, you pour some into a bowl and add the bread. You stir gently until it softens. The smell is mild. You taste it once, then eat slowly, spoonful by spoonful. The light outside grows, faint at first, then steadier. You glance toward the window, then finish your meal. You rinse the bowl and set it aside. You step outside again. The air is cool, carrying the quiet of early morning. The ground feels different today, slightly firmer, less damp. You notice this without stopping. You move toward the well but do not draw water yet. Instead, you continue past it, following a narrower path that leads away from the houses. The path is less worn. Grass grows along its edges. Beyond it lies a small enclosure where animals rest. You approach without haste. One lifts its head briefly, then lowers it again. You move calmly, keeping your presence even. You bring feed from a container kept nearby. You scatter it slowly. The animals step forward in their own time. You watch until they settle, then check the enclosure. A loose tie is adjusted. A board is pressed back into place. Nothing more is needed. You return toward the houses as the light strengthens. Smoke rises in thin lines now. The settlement is waking, not all at once, but in layers. Back inside, you take down a larger container. It holds something prepared earlier, kept cool by the night. You open it and inspect the contents. They have changed slightly as expected. You nod once and close it again. You carry it outside and place it where the sun will reach it later, but not too strongly. You adjust its position with care. This placement matters. You know the balance by feel. The rest of the morning unfolds in small tasks. You sweep the floor lightly, moving dust toward the door. You shake out a cloth and hang it where air can pass through. You mend a loose tie on a basket handle. Each task ends cleanly before the next begins. There is no overlap. Your movements remain steady. As the sun climbs, you pause. You stand in the open space between the houses and let the light reach your face. You close your eyes briefly. The warmth rests there, then fades as you open them again. You draw water now and carry it back inside. You set it near the hearth for later use. You sit again on the bench and rest your hands. The morning settles into itself. There is no sense of urgency. The day has only begun, and it is already complete in its own way. You sit for a long while after the morning has settled, not because there is nothing to do, but because the next tasks belong to a later hour. The bench supports you easily. The air inside the house holds a mild warmth now, balanced between the fire and the light coming through the window. You rest your hands together, fingers lightly touching, feeling the quiet strength in them. Outside, the sounds have grown fuller. Footsteps pass with more regularity. A voice drifts by, low and brief. Something metal touches stone once, then again, then stops. None of it enters the house with force. Stays outside where it belongs. When you stand, it is without decision. You take up a larger cloth and shake it once near the door. Dust lifts and settles again. You fold the cloth carefully and set it aside. You check the fire, nudging one piece of wood so it rests more securely. The flame responds and then steadies. You step outside and turn toward the path that leads beyond the houses. The light has grown brighter. The sun rests higher now, touching the tops of walls and the edges of roofs. The ground is mostly dry. You walk at an even pace, feeling the firmness beneath your feet. At the edge of the settlement, you pass the place where tools are kept. You pause and select one, testing its weight in your hand. The handle fits well. You carry it with you as you continue on. The land opens gradually. Low growth spreads unevenly, interrupted by patches of bare earth. You stop near one such patch and kneel. The soil here is lighter. You press your fingers into it and feel how it holds together, then how it breaks apart. You set the tool down and begin to work with your hands. The task is simple. You loosen what has hardened, lift what has gathered too closely, and leave the rest undisturbed. Your movements are slow and careful. You work in a small area at a time, never rushing ahead. The sun warms your back gently. You feel it through the wool, steady and mild. When your hands tire slightly, you pause. You sit back on your heels and look over what you have done. The change is small but enough. You brush your hands together and stand, stretching once, then again. You move to another patch and repeat the work. The rhythm remains the same. Loosen, lift, smooth, leave. The ground responds quietly. After a time, you stop again. You drink from the small container you brought with you, taking only a few mouthfuls. The water is cool. You replace the lid and set the container down. You look toward the settlement briefly. Smoke rises steadily now. The day has moved forward while you worked, though it does not feel like time has passed. It feels more like a change in light and warmth. You return along the path, carrying the tool easily. At the edge of the houses, you set it back where it belongs. You wipe your hands on the cloth you brought and hang it to air. Inside, the house feels still. The fire holds. You take down a container from the shelf and open it. The contents have shifted again. You stir them once with a wooden spoon, then close the lid. You move the container slightly, adjusting its position. This is enough for now. You sit near the window and look out. The light falls across the floor in a wide band. You watch dust move through it. Your breathing remains slow and even. After some time, you rise and prepare a small portion of food. You do not cook it fully. You only warm it and add a little of something sharp. You eat standing, then clean what you used and return everything to its place. The afternoon deepens. The sun lowers gradually. Shadows lengthen. You step outside again and walk through the open space. Fewer people pass now. Those who do move more slowly as you do. You stop near the well and rest your hand on the stone rim. It is warm to the touch. You draw water and carry it back inside, setting it aside for later. As the light begins to soften, you take out a bundle of items kept wrapped for this hour. You lay them out and sort them by touch. Some are ready to be used. Others are not. You separate them and wrap them again. You hang a few near the hearth, leaving space between them. You watch how the heat reaches them, then turn away. The house grows quieter as evening approaches. The air cools slightly. You add another piece of wood to the fire and sit on the bench once more. You rest there, letting the day settle around you. Your body feels steady. Your hands are warm. The light fades without calling attention to itself. You remain until the room grows dim enough that you no longer need to see clearly. The shapes around you soften. The fire becomes the center of the space again. You sit, breathing slowly, as the day continues to close. You remain seated as the light continues to soften. The fire has lowered again, but it does not need attention yet. The warmth still reaches your hands and knees, steady and enough. You sit with your back straight but relaxed, letting the bench hold you without effort. Outside, the day moves toward its quieter hours. The sounds that reach you are fewer now and spaced farther apart. A distant voice fades. Something wooden is set down carefully. After that, there is mostly the sound of air moving through narrow spaces between walls. You stand and step toward the door. You open it just enough to look outside. The sky has shifted to a deeper tone. The sun no longer rests on the ground nearby, but you can feel where it has been. The stones still hold warmth. You step out and close the door behind you. You walk slowly through the open space, your pace unhurried. The ground feels cooler underfoot now. You notice it, then let the sensation pass. Near the well, you stop and look down into the darkness. The surface of the water reflects only a hint of light. You do not draw from it. You simply stand there for a moment, hands resting loosely at your sides. Farther on, you move toward the edge of the settlement again, but you do not go as far as before. You stop near the boundary, where grass meets packed earth. You bend and pick up a small stone, turning it once in your fingers. The surface is smooth and warm from the day. You set it back where you found it. You return toward your house. Along the way, you pass someone sitting near a doorway. They lift their head slightly as you approach, then lower it again. You adjust your path to give space. No words are exchanged. The movement is enough. Inside, the room feels darker now. The firelight has become the main shapemaker, casting soft movement across the walls. You add one piece of wood, then leave the fire alone. You do not want it too high. You take down a small container kept near the hearth. Inside is something that has been changing over time. You open it and look, then smell. You do not touch it yet. You close the lid again and move the container a little farther from the heat. This adjustment is small but important. You sit at the table and rest your hands on its surface. The wood is smooth, marked by years of use. You trace one shallow groove with your finger, then stop. After a while, you prepare a small portion of food. This time, you do not heat it much. You arrange it carefully instead, placing each piece where it belongs. You add something sharp in a very small amount. You taste once, then again. When it is right, you eat slowly. The flavors are quiet but distinct. You chew carefully, noticing how each mouthful changes slightly as you eat. You stop before the bowl is empty. What remains will be eaten later or not at all. You clean what you used and return everything to its place. The repetition is familiar and calming. When you are finished, the room looks as it did before, nothing out of order. You take down a thicker cloth and spread it on the bench beside you. You sit on it, then draw it around your shoulders. The weight is comforting. You feel the warmth stay close. The light continues to fade. The window shows only a darker square now. You close the shutters fully, pressing them into place until they settle. The room grows quieter without the outside light. You return to the bench and sit facing the fire. The flames move slowly, almost lazily. You watch them without focus, letting your eyes soften. Time passes without measure. Your breathing slows. Your shoulders drop slightly. Your hands rest in your lap, fingers relaxed. When you stand again, it is to prepare for rest. You smooth the straw mattress and adjust the blanket. You place the wooden headrest where it feels right. You remove your outer layer and hang it carefully, then loosen the rest of your clothing. You sit on the edge of the mattress for a moment, letting the warmth from the fire reach your back one last time. You take a small sip of water and set the cup aside. You lie down slowly. The straw shifts, then settles. You pull the blanket around you and tuck it in close. The firelight reaches you faintly, flickering at the edge of your sight. You listen to the house. The fire settles. Wood creaks softly. Outside, the night holds steady. Your eyes close when they are ready. The day releases you without ceremony. You rest, breathing evenly, as the quiet deepens. You wake slowly, not to sound, but to a change in the air. The night has thinned. The fire has settled into a quiet bed of ash, holding only a trace of warmth. The room feels cooler than it did when you fell asleep, but not unkind. The blanket still rests where you pulled it, its weight familiar. You lie still for a while, listening. The house makes its smallest sounds. Wood contracts softly. Somewhere outside, something shifts, then grows quiet again. You breathe evenly, letting your body return to itself. When you sit up, you do so without haste. The straw mattress rustles faintly beneath you. Your feet touch the floor, cool and solid. You pause, letting your balance settle, then stand. You move to the hearth and kneel. With a practiced motion, you brush aside ash until a faint glow answers you. You add thin wood one piece at a time. The fire returns gently, as if it had only been resting. You warm your hands briefly, turning them once, then straighten. You dress again, layer by layer. Linen first, then wool. Each piece falls into place as it always does. The weight is reassuring. You tie and adjust without looking. You take a small piece of food saved from the evening before. You warm it near the fire, not enough to change it much, only enough to take the chill away. You eat slowly, standing, feeling the warmth return to your body in small measures. When you are finished, you rinse your hands and the bowl you used. You set everything back where it belongs. Nothing is left out. You step outside. The sky is pale, holding the last quiet of night. The ground feels cool beneath your feet. Moisture rests lightly on the earth, darkening it. You breathe in the air and feel it fill your chest. You walk toward the well and draw water, listening to the rope as it moves through your hands. The bucket rises heavy and steady. You drink a little, then set the rest aside. You continue along the lane as the light grows. The settlement wakes in its usual way. A door opens partway. Smoke begins to rise from one chimney, then another. The air carries the faint smell of burning wood. You reach the open space and sit on the low bench. The wood is cool. You rest your hands on your knees and watch as others pass through. No one stops. No one rushes. The morning gathers itself slowly. After a time, you stand and move toward the place where shared work happens. Inside, the space is dim and cool. Light enters from above, catching dust in its path. You take your place and begin a familiar task. Your hands work steadily. You lift, sort, and set aside. The materials feel different today, slightly drier, slightly firmer. You adjust your movements to match them. The rhythm settles quickly. You pause when your hands tire, then continue. There is no pressure to finish quickly. The work will take as long as it takes. When your portion is done, you clean the space you used and step back. Someone else moves forward without comment. You leave quietly. Outside, the sun has risen higher. The light is clearer now. You walk back toward your house, passing along the edges of activity without joining it. The lane feels familiar beneath your feet. Inside, you set down what you carried and wash your hands. You take down a container and open it. The contents have changed again, slowly, as expected. You stir them gently, then close the lid and move it slightly. This adjustment is small, but you feel it is right. You sit near the window and let the light rest on your hands. Dust moves through it. You watch without following any one piece. Later, you prepare a simple meal. You do not cook much. You combine what is ready and warm it slightly. You eat slowly, stopping before you are full. You save what remains. The afternoon begins to shape itself. The light shifts. Shadows lengthen. You step outside once more and walk a short distance, then return. The movement feels good, measured. As evening approaches again, you tend the fire and prepare the space for night. You smooth the mattress. You shake the blanket once and lay it down. You place the wooden headrest carefully. You sit for a while near the hearth, letting the warmth reach you. The day feels complete, not because everything was done, but because everything was done in its time. When you lie down, the straw settles beneath you. You pull the blanket close and feel your body grow heavy in a calm way. The firelight flickers softly. Your breathing slows. The room grows quiet. The night takes its place gently and you rest. You wake slowly, as you have many times before, but this morning carries a different quiet. Not heavier, not lighter, only settled. The fire has nearly gone out, leaving behind a soft gray bed of ash. The room is cool, but your body remembers the warmth of the blanket and does not resist the air. You remain still for a long time. Your breathing is deep and even. The straw beneath you presses in familiar places, shaped by your weight over many nights. Nothing aches. Nothing calls for attention. When you finally sit up, it feels natural, unremarkable. Your feet touch the floor. The earth is cool, steady. You stand and move to the hearth, brushing ash aside until a faint glow appears. You add thin wood carefully, slowly. The fire responds without haste, as it always does. Light begins to return to the room, not yet through the window, but through memory and rhythm. You warm your hands briefly, then dress again. Linen, wool, the same layers in the same order. The motions require no thought. You prepare a small morning meal. Nothing elaborate. You warm what remains from the night before, adding a little water, stirring gently. The smell is mild. You eat slowly, stopping before you are full. You clean the bowl and set it away. Outside, the sky is pale and open. The air carries the scent of damp ground and distant smoke. You step out and close the door softly behind you. The settlement wakes as it always does, not together, but in pieces. A door opens. Someone passes carrying a container. Smoke rises in thin lines that drift and disappear. You walk along the familiar path, feeling the ground beneath your feet, noticing where it has hardened and where it still gives slightly. You stop at the well and draw water. The rope feels rough, reliable. You drink a little, then set the bucket aside for others. You do not linger. You walk beyond the houses again, though not far. The land stretches quietly. You kneel near a small patch and touch the soil. It is ready for nothing today, and that is fine. You stand again and turn back. Inside your house, the light has grown stronger. You move through the space with ease, adjusting small things without thinking. A container is shifted slightly. A cloth is hung where air can pass. A bundle is checked by touch, then returned to its place. You sit near the window and let the light rest on your hands. Dust drifts slowly through it. You watch, not following any single movement. Later, you prepare food again, combining what is ready, adding little, taking nothing extra. You eat quietly. You clean. You rest. The afternoon arrives without ceremony. The sun lowers. Shadows lengthen. You step outside once more and walk through the open space. Fewer people pass now. Those who do move slowly, as you do. The day is folding itself inward. You return home and tend the fire. You add enough wood to last the evening, no more. You sit on the bench and let the warmth reach you. Your body feels used in a good way, steady, familiar. As evening deepens, you prepare the space for rest. The straw mattress is smoothed, the blanket shaken once and laid down. The wooden headrest is placed where it belongs. Each action is small, exact, complete. You eat one final small portion. You do not heat it much. You taste it carefully. When it is done, you clean everything and leave nothing out. You close the shutters fully. The room becomes firelight and shadow. You sit for a while, breathing slowly, watching the flames move without pattern. When you lie down, the straw shifts and settles. You pull the blanket close. The firelight reaches you faintly, then less, then not at all. Your body grows heavy in a calm, familiar way. The day does not end with a thought or a conclusion. It simply rests. You close your eyes when they are ready. The house holds its quiet. You sleep,